Welcome to my YouTube channel. Subject is Constitution. Chapter is Fundamental Rights. Today topic is human rights. Human rights. What is the meaning of human rights? Human rights are the basic rights and freedom that belong to every person in the world from birth to until the death. The fundamental rights define the basic human rights for all the citizens. Humans have rights and define in different constitution in different parts for their rights. Human rights are rights inherent to all the human beings, whatever our nationality, place of residence, gender, national or ethnic organs, color, religion, language, or any other status that are included in human rights. We all are equally entitled to our human rights without discriminations. These rights are all the interrelated rights, interdependent rights, and indivisible rights. Universal human rights are often expressed and guaranteed by law in the form of territories, customary, international law, general principles, and other sources of international law. International human rights law lay down obligations of government to act in certain way or to refrain from certain acts, rules and regulations in order to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedom of individual or in a group. Human rights are applied regardless of where we are from, what we are believe or how we choose our life. Human rights it can be taken away all throughout. They can sometimes be restricted. Say for example, if a person break the law or the interest of national security. The basic rights are based on the value like dignity, fairness, equality, respect and independence. The values are defined and protected by law. In Britain, human rights are protected by Human Rights Act 1998. How do human rights help to us? Human rights are relevant to all of us, not just those who are face repressions or mistreatment. Human rights protect us in many areas of our day-to-day life, including our right to have express our own opinions, our right to education, our right to a private and family life, our right not to be mistreated or wrongly punished by the state. What do you human beings come from? Where do you humans being come from? The idea that human being it should be a set of a basic right and freedom, it has deep root in a Britain. Landmark development in Britain it includes the Magna Carta of 1215 since the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 and the Bill of Rights of 1689. There are human rights are universal and inalienable, interdependent and indivisible, equal and non-discriminatory, both right and obligations. First one, that is universal and inalienable. The standard of all inclusive of human rights is the foundation of worldwide human right law. The guideline as first underlined in Universal Declaration on Human Rights in 1948, it has been emphasized in various global human rights it shows and goals. In 1993 World Conference on Human Rights, for instance, notice that it's the obligation of states to advance and secure every single human right and sensual opportunity and paying a little need to their politics, monetary and social frameworks. All states have conformed at any rate one and 80% of state it have approved at least four of the center human rights arrangements reflecting essence of state in which it make a legislative commitment for them, and it give a solid articles to all the inclusives including in human rights, and some crucial human rights are standard to appreciate all the inclusive insurance by standard worldwide law over all the limits and developments. So the human rights are unavoidable and they out it not be removed aside from in expectant circumstance and as per a fair treatments. For instance, the privilege to freedom it might be a limited if the individual is seen and as a liable of wrongdoing by an official courtroom. Second, human rights, that is the interdependent and indivisible. Every single human rights are unbreakable regardless of where they are toughness and political rights. For example, the privilege of life, equity under the watchful eye of the law, and opportunity of articles, monetary, social and social right, the rights to work, government manage saving and trainings or aggregate rights, the rights to advancement and self assurance are resolute, interrelated and associated. The improvement of one right encourage progression of the other rights. Similarly, the hardship of the one right unfavorable influence to the other rights. Third, human rights, that is equal and non-discriminatory. Non-separation is a cross-cutting rule in global human rights law. The guideline is available in all the significant human rights that are arrangements, and it gives the focal topic of some worldwide human right. For example, the International Convention on the Elimination of all the form of racial discrimination and the Convention on the Elimination of all the form it discriminate against the woman. The standard applies to everybody corresponding to every single human right and opportunity, and it denies separation based on a rundown on known through classes. For example, a gender, race, shading, The rule of non-separation is supplemented by the standard of corresponding as expressed in Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That is, the every single individual are brought into the world free and equality in nobility and rights. Fourth, human rights, that is the both right and obligations. Human rights involve the two rights and commitments, state expression commitments and the obligation under global law to regards, to ensure and to satisfy human rights. The commitment to regards, it implies that the state must be shun meddling without or the satisfaction in human rights. The commitment to secure express state to ensure people and gathering against human rights manhandles. The commitment to satisfy, it implies that the state it must make positive move to encourage the satisfaction in essential human rights. At the individual level, while we are entitled to our human rights, we encourage to likewise it regards the human privilege of other human rights. Human rights, there are a different human rights, that is a civil rights that include a different articles such as the rights to life, liberty and security. Second one, that is political rights, that includes like a right to a protection of a law and equality before the law. Third one, that is economical right, that include a right to work, to own property and to receive equal pay. Next one, that is a social right. It includes a like right to education and consenting marriages. Next one, that is cultural rights. It includes the right to freely participate in their cultural community. And next one, that is collective rights. It include like the right to self determination. There are the different articles that is included in civil articles, different articles from 1 to 13. Some article for human rights that is included in civil rights, that are the prohibition of discrimination on the basis of race, color, gender, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. Second right, that is the right to life. Next right is the right to liability and security. Next civil right, that is the right not to be submitted slavery, servitude, forced labor or bounded labor. Next civil right, that is the right it not be subjected to tutor and crucial, inhuman, degrading treatment or punishment. Next civil right is the right to be free from gendered violence. Next civil right is the right to be free from association. Next civil right is the right to free from movement. Next civil right is the right to the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. Next civil right is the right to just and favorable conditions of work. Next civil right is the right to an adequate standard of living. Next civil right is the right to social security. Next civil right is the right of children to special protection. All the civil rights are included in different articles from 1 to 29 in human rights. Thank you. જો તમને મારો વિડીયો પસંદ આવ્યો હોય તો લાઈક કરો, શેર કરો અને સબસ્ક્રાઈબ કરો મારી યુટ્યુબ ચેનલને મૃગેશ રાઠોડ.